This is my review of Transformers Generations Sergeant Kup. And as we take a close look at Sergeant Kup in truck mode, I would like to point out the color of the plastic. Now, it's not just a flat color. If you actually shine the light on it and look very closely, you could make out what appears to be tiny flecks of metallic paint, which is a really nice detail that really enhances this figure, especially in truck mode. The other thing I like about truck mode for Sergeant Kup is there are not a lot of these lines, these cut lines I call them. Of course, this is where the panels move out for the transformation from truck mode into robot mode. As you make your way around the vehicle, there really aren't a lot of these cut lines, which is nice. It makes the vehicle look that much more believable in truck mode. And just a fantastic detailed figure, actually. If you look at the bed of the truck, you can see there's paint there. But what I notice about it is really nicely detailed, but it also has some texture to it, if you can make that out. It's not just a smooth surface, it actually has some texture to it. And if you look at the back of the truck, you can see the taillights are actually clear plastic. And I like the fact that they chose to use plastic instead of paint. So that's really nice as well. You've got a little two-tone effect here with the gray color. And on the front, really nice, vibrant silver color for the grille. A nice red Autobot logo on the hood. You've got some headlights here, which I believe are just painted on. This is not actually plastic. And if you look at the bottom of the vehicle, you can see you have the storage for the weapon, and it's supposed to be one of the exhaust tips, as you can see there. So I will go ahead and take that out. And what you could do if you wanted to, since it has this clip here, you could clip it onto the top in truck mode. Since I'm not going to be displaying Sergeant Kup in his truck mode, I don't really have any use for that, but it is an option. Now I want to show you real quickly a picture of the Generation 1 Kup toy, so you can kind of get an idea of how they updated this figure. And there is the Generation 1 Kup figure in truck mode, and you can see there's some similarities. The color is relatively similar, especially if you compare this color here with this overall color with the Generations figure. But yeah, there's a definite likeness to the old Generation 1 figure, which is really nice. A close-up look at that. Now, on to the transformation. When I first transformed this vehicle, I had some problems, and it had to do with this panel here. This panel is attached to the arm. And there really is not a lot of clearance to get this panel removed. So what I found is, go ahead and just separate the panel here. So you got this gap, which should allow you to free up this panel here much more easily. But for the transformation, first thing you want to do, you want to take the wheel out on both sides at the front of the vehicle, and then you should be able to remove the panel which is attached to the arm, like that. A little more force than I'd like to. I know I've watched some other reviews and they make it seem easier than what I'm going through now, but you can see how it's very securely attached. You can see there's two tabs here, two tabs there, and another tab over there, so it's quite secure. Anyhow, the next thing you want to do, you want to separate the hood from the grille. There's actually a tab that goes into the back of the grille, and basically you want to try to get it so that, see how the hood's kind of going up like that? Once you got it like that, it should pop up like that. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take this top section of the truck mode and rotate it down. And as you can see here, the center section becomes the chest and the head, as you can see there. Now this backpack here, it does fold back onto the back pretty nicely. So you want to fold up the hood like that, and with a little bit of adjustment, you can actually get it to sit, far enough down that it's not quite as bad as it could be. Alright, so for the legs, split the legs, and then you want to take this panel here, rotate it out, and rotate up the heel, and just do the same thing over here, rotate the foot out, rotate up the heel, and then for the knee area, what you want to do is you want to bend the leg back like that. That allows you to free up this piece and rotate it forward, and just do the same thing on the other leg. Now this whole assembly here is going to fold down into here and fill up that cavity there. So you just want to rotate it down like so, and on the other side as well. It's on a ball joint, so if it doesn't really go in if it doesn't go in the first time, just kind of rotate it around until you get enough clearance that it actually goes down into that recessed area there, like that. Alright, so now the shoulders you want to bring up to about that point. So just move the shoulders up. And as for the panel on the arm, you want to rotate this around like that. And just do the same thing for the other arm. It helps if you keep the arm straight. And if you get the hand out of the way, you should be able to rotate it around. Now, as for the wheels and the tires, I prefer to keep them like this up against the body. I think it looks a little better like that. And just make sure you keep the shoulders up high as possible on both sides. And there is Generations Sergeant Cup in robot mode. And we'll do a little 360 action here. Now, as far as articulation goes, you've got a ball jointed head. Shoulders are articulated. They're not really on a ball joint per se, but they can kind of go out. You got a rotation at the bicep, and you actually have a bend at the elbow, and the arm can actually go that way as well. Swivel wrists. There is no waist articulation. The hips are on ball joints. Swivel at the thigh, bend at the knee, and you can argue you have articulation at the ankle, like so. Now the weapon, of course, does fit in his hand, but you could, if you wanted to, clip it back here, kind of like for storage mode, or for storage. I've also seen where you can actually clip it to the side panel here. So it kind of just sits on that panel like that. So as you can see, you can have the gun held in the hand. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at Generation 1 Cup in robot mode and just do a little comparison of the old and the new. So as you can see, there is Generation 1 Cup in robot mode. And where I find the similarities is in the head sculpt. And if you take a look at the Generation 1 head sculpt, there are some features in that head sculpt that carry over into the new Generations figure. And what I mean by that is, you can see how the head almost looks like it has a crown on it. You have these 2 points here, and you've kind of got a centerpiece on the forehead. Well, if you take a look at the new figure, take a close look here, you can see it has the same design, which is really, really nice. And as you can see, the eyes are blue. It does have light piping, but the sculpt on the face is fantastic. And of course, they painted the face with a very shiny silver, which is really nice. So final thoughts on this figure. Well, it is definitely a recommended buy for Generation 1 Transformers fans. I mean, it's very cool that we have a updated Cup figure, and the fact that we can get it for, you know, roughly $10 or $11, as opposed to, say, waiting for a third party such as Fans Project to come out with their own custom Cup figure, which would undoubtedly cost around, you know, 50, 60, 70 bucks. So, way to go, Hasbro. Thank you very much. This is a fantastic figure. Fantastic homage to Generation 1 Cup and the character of Generation 1 Cup. And even if you're not a Generation 1 fan, it's still a really nice figure. Like I said at the beginning of the review, I really like the way or the color of the plastic. Just everything was very nice, very high quality. So it's definitely even recommended for those of you who are not die-hard Generation 1 fans. Alright, well, thanks for watching. This has been my review of Transformers Generations Sergeant Cup.